welcome to Spirit Stone's Creative Crafts. This is Kat and this is my first tutorial for you. We're going to be doing a tutorial today on these crochet hook handles made from polymer clay. I use the Fimo soft, and we get to create these, which I absolutely love, and it does make holding them a lot more comfortable. So I showed these on my video earlier, and then these are some more that have just not long come out of being baked, so they're still a little bit warm. So just wanted to show you a few things we can do with the leftovers as well. Is make like little pendants, matching earrings and stuff, and also a couple of beads to go on my boots. So there we go, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I've already rolled out my clay. I'd like to tell you what setting it would be on a pasta machine, but I don't own one. So it's been done just for rolling it out. And so I've just rolled it really, really thin, and we're going to stack them on top of each other and roll them. So this is the hook that I'm going to be putting them on. It's like a lilac colour. So I've chosen the contrasting colours, and I think I'm going to put them in this order as well. So we're going to start by taking this one, and we'll just lay it on top of this one, like so. It's a bit warm here under the light, but should be okay. Now you want to be careful with air bubbles when it's really thin, and we can tease them out gently. If you see any obvious ones, then you can just pop them with a pin, because the polymer clay is incredibly forgiving. So now that I've stacked those together, what I want to do now is I want to roll them up. So going to get that in there nice and tightly like this, and we're just going to roll that. I'm going to roll that as straight as we possibly can, and I've only used a small amount of clay because I don't want to have a massive amount of cane left over. And so I'm just going to, some people do like tucking their ends in nice and neat, but to be quite honest, you don't really see it when it's on the hooks anyway. So I'm just going to tease that out a little bit, and I'm going to start to roll that. I'm going to roll it to a certain point, and then I'm going to cut it in half and join it together and roll it some more. And I'm not going to want these scraggly ends when I do that, so I'm just going to take my blade and cut them off. And like these end bits, I mean, there you go, that's what it looks like already. And these ends, these are really good. You mix them all together and you end up with all sorts of different colours. And I tend to use these as backgrounds. Like when I did this heart, this is like a funky colour on the back, but it's something that I can colour afterwards. You know, I can put another layer of the clay over to colour it. So these are really, you know, squishing these up. Or you can use them to make beads, whatever you want to do. So just continue to roll this out a minute. And then when it gets to a certain point, I'm just going to cut that in half. And I will say that using any kind of polymer clay on glass is so much better than using it on most other things anyway. For the longest time I kept using it on things that it was sticking to, and that became really annoying. So there we go, that's the two lots put together now. I'm just going to cut that and see what that looks like. And so look, we have this here that's looking kind of funky, isn't it? So that's my colours together. So I could, if I wanted to, cut that in half and go again, but because this is quite thin, I feel like I'm going to lose my pattern in a way. So this is an end that obviously has to come off. And it doesn't matter with these bits, like I said, you can use them, they'll come in handy for something. So we could have left it at just one roll here, like this. Well, now we've got the two rolls. So tell you what, let's make it, we'll do that. I just want to just roll it enough to get it to come together now. I don't want it to the pattern to be too small. So now if you were making canes for anything else, you definitely would want to be a bit neater with it, but I'm going to be squishing this onto a crochet hook, so my camera really doesn't like this light, and picking it up is a bit harder. So there we go. So let's just move this light a minute. That might be a little bit better. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to make little thin slices. Now, so every now and then I do a thick one, so we just pull that one out of the way. And we're just going to cut this up and get the crochet hook. And this is what you want to do. Put them on and squish them in place. And then don't worry about gaps. You're going to want gaps because as you roll the crochet hook, it's going to expand, and if you have too much on there with no gaps for the expansion to fill in, then you're going to end up with baggy clay. And so what I do is, if I've got a gap here like this, then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do that one. And so this is what we're going to do. And we're just going to fill it in like so. And you can do it all different directions. It doesn't have to be the same direction. It does not even have to be the same thickness of slices, because that's going to add to your texture, your pattern. So there we go. That's how it is looking so far. So we're going to cut a few more slices, and you really don't need to be too pedantic. Sometimes they are just a little bit too thick. I'm right-handed, and so I can't see to the right-hand side of the cane very well, but still, we're getting better at cutting. So that's good. Okay, let's carry on adding these. You really, seriously, just be loose with it. It's okay. It's all going to go into place properly afterwards, and it's just going to look really, really beautiful. So it's good if you can use a contrasting colour to go with your hook. And like I said, I'm not worrying about these spaces at all, and you'll see afterwards why. And we're not even going to put something on the end yet either. We're going to come to the end at the end of the rolling of it. So yeah, when you're rolling the clay out in the first instance, it really does help to clean your roller into glass. You end up mixing colours. It doesn't matter so much for this kind of thing, but if you're making items of jewellery, I've had some really lovely pieces before, and then I've had a look and I've got a tiny bit of black in the white and in a place where it really matters. So you want to be careful with that. So we're coming to the end now, and then this is a really thin bit, but it doesn't matter, it's going to go on there and it's going to be just fine. So we're near the end, so this is what we're going to do, move these things out of the way, and we're just going to roll evenly throughout. And if you look, I've only rolled it a few times, and already look how that is coming together. And see, because it's had to fill in space, look how it's stretched the pattern. That just looks really pretty. So we're just going to continue to do that all the way to both ends. And then you want to get another piece now. So you see the end here. Okay, so we add this piece on, we squish that in place like this. That's cool. And then you just want to go over and check that you don't have any lines where they were added together. I don't mean like the lines of colour, I mean the lines of the gap lines is what we're making sure we don't have. So just continue to roll that, and then I'm going to turn it on its end so I can square this bit off here, and that gives a nice shape. Now any air holes you find, you just want to pop with a pin, but I don't have any luckily. And then you can actually even tease it to come up a little bit further if you want it to. And then what I do is I get my blade, and obviously being very careful of my fingers, I'm just going to turn that around so I can have a straight line, and then that just comes off really easily there. Take that off, and then I just go around with my blade and make sure I've got no loose ends there, and then come back in with my fingers, and there you have it. Okay, so now you're going to be thinking about cooking it. You can even cook it in your oven and check your instructions on the clay and what it says, how long you need to cook. it in the oven. I use my UT machine. It's just the best little thing to bake the polymer clay in, not just the crochet hooks, but it's a great shape for the crochet hooks, you see. So I use greaseproof paper. You can use wax paper, you can use tin foil, but tin foil can have an uneven effect on your clay. So I put several in at one time, like this. As long as they're not touching, that's fine. And then literally fill in the gaps around it with these other things, so I get everything baked in one go. And you'd be amazed how much you can fit in this little machine. And then obviously I get to do other things with it, like the UT itself as well. So it's a great little machine, and I have a lot of fun with it. So I hope this tutorial was some use to you, and if you want some other tutorials done, let me know. The more I learn, the more I'll share. And again, I'm grateful to all the people that taught me, because then I'm able to do tutorials and you know, help show you too. So thanks very much. Enjoy doing your crochet hooks, and most importantly of all, enjoy using them when they're done. Have fun. Thanks. Bye bye.